This lesson introduces Performance Monitor, and this can be launched just by running perfmon, or you can actually just find it if you type start and type perform, and there it is, Performance Monitor. And this gives you so much detail. It's very important to know what you're looking at. So by default, when I first launch it, I see a system summary, percentage committed bytes in use of memory, available megabytes, so available memory, cache vaults per second. Gives me some basic information about network interfaces on my box. It looks at all my physical disk and shows me average idle time, average disk queue length, which is how long it's waiting before operations can actually be performed, how many operations are waiting to be actioned. Processor interrupt time, processor time, parking status. So straight away, without doing anything else, these are really the critical values you ever want to look at. To understand just how healthy is my system, these are the key ones. But I can go in and get a lot more detail. So I go into Performance Monitor, and I have this chart. And by default, it's just showing me percentage processor time total. And notice it's basically logging it historically. It's showing me the last value, the average, the minimum, the maximum, and the duration. But I can say to don't show this, or I can actually say remove all the counters. I can delete this. Just press del. I can add additional counters. And these are all the different groups. Notice I can add from other machines, but these are all the different groups that I can add counters from. So a huge number. Now this may differ depending on which components, which roles and features you have installed, because there are some counters that are specific to particular roles and features. See, this is a Hyper-V box, so I can see remote FX information. I can see Hyper-V information related to virtual machines running on this box. But let's take something very common. So I look at my processor, and I might say percentage processor time. And instead of looking at the total, I want to see all the separate instances. So all 16 of those logical processors. Notice it starts at 0. And I click Add. So it's showing me a line for each of those. So this is the default view and the scale goes up to 100. I can modify that under Properties. For my graph, I can change the maximum scale. So maybe I'll change that to 20. So then I can see more detail of actually what's going on. I can change the colors. I can change the appearance, the fonts. It's getting it from the current activity, but I can also read from log files or a database. But I can also change the type of graph I have. So currently, this is viewing the current activity. I can view log data, but I can change my graph type. I click the drop down. This is a line. I could see a report. So it's just going to show me all the current values of all the different logical processors. What's great for something like this is to actually use the histogram bar. So these are going up and down based on the usage of the processors. So this is a great view for that type of value. I can go back to line and I can add lots of other counters, anything I want from this area. So you just have to find, well, what is really the object that you're trying to monitor? And then once you select it, you can then get the detail of the counters available within that object. And I can say particular instances, all instances, the total through here. Once you have these defined, you can actually save your configuration if you created it as a custom MSC. So the way you do this is I would launch MMC. I would do add remove snapping. And I would actually say performance monitor. I would say add. OK. Now within here, I can go and add whatever counters it is I wanted. So I'm going to go and add, and let's just say we'll add those same processors. So I'm going to go to processor again, percentage processor time, all instances, add. OK. And I'm going to change it to a histogram bar. I then save this MSC console. I'm just going to save it to my documents library. We'll say logical proc. Save. Now what I can do, if I just navigate to my documents and double click that, I'm straight back to that configuration. It's just available to me. So create your own custom MMC console, add the performance monitor snap in, add the counters you want, and you're good to go. This concludes the introduction to Performance Monitor.